Hey there friends, Jeff Fritz here, and I'm back with another Ask a Developer video. I'm still at Tech Bash 2019, and I'm joined by my friend Jason von Brackel. Jason, so good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for joining us. Now, for the folks who don't know who you are, can you give a quick intro?
Sure thing. So I'm the Director of Community for Intro Labs, which is just a really fancy way of saying I work with the people who don't pay us. So I work with the open source community, a lot of blogging, a lot of videos, a lot of content generation, and just working with the open source community.
Very cool. So you're building a lot of content for folks to learn from.
Yep.
Now, when you're looking for content to learn from, so you know what to teach folks, are you looking for blogs, just raw documentation on product, or are you looking for videos?
So if it's something bleeding edge, I'm going right to the docs.
Okay.
Because that's generally the only thing I can find. If it's I need to solve a problem, like how to do something, I'll search engine, see what Stack Overflow has to say, and then usually I end up going back to the docs.
Okay.
But yeah, so it usually ends up a combination of blogs lead me eventually to docs, and then learn enough to get what I need to get done, and then explore a little further just to improve whatever I'm working on.
Okay. Now, do you ever go looking for how-tos or tutorials, or do you just stay in the docs and kind of formulate that how-to and tutorial for yourself?
A lot of what I'm working on is close to the bleeding edge, so I'm usually that's part of my process. I'm taking the documentation, turning that into a how-to or tutorial, and usually what happens is when I'm going into development, because I don't do as much development as I used to, I have to go back to the blog posts, the videos, the how-tos, because I haven't built a web API in 5 years.
Oh my goodness.
4 years.
Okay.
So it's one of those things most of my coding is it's Terraform, it's Azure RM, it's more scripting oriented, Bash, PowerShell, things of that nature.
Sure.
So when I have to review how to build a web API, I'm looking for a tutorial, a walkthrough, just to refresh my brain on how to do that.
Okay. So when you do find those tutorials, how-tos, or you're putting together a blog post, what feels developer-friendly about it, right? When you look for that, for some of that written content, what makes you say, oh my gosh, this is great for me as a developer?
It's that holistic approach where you understand it's not just the hello world. It's here's how, here's our fake problem we're solving, here's the code, here's the unit test to go with it, and here's how it fits into the bigger picture.
Sure.
So being able to see we're focused on this part of this bigger architecture, and here's something that this is code that maybe not wouldn't pass production, but would be close.
Okay.
You'd be on your way.
Do you ever look for some of the why when they're describing here's how this works, why we chose to use this technique?
I think it's really valuable.
Okay.
So when I'm doing streaming, for example, I always talk about why I'm making the decision I'm making. What my thought process is, where I see the dangers are and the gotchas.
Okay.
That's I'm looking for that when I'm trying to generate content. I want to expose my thought process in such a way that somebody understands where I'm coming from, so that I can relate to the problems they're solving and they can relate to the problems I'm solving.
They can get more of that context and be sure that it fits their needs.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Well, Jason, thanks so much for joining me. This is really great, and that's been another Ask a Developer video.